that I love you more than anything in the entire world, that I'm so proud of you, that you have incredible gifts and talents, and that every day the world's better with you in it. And I'm so excited to see you grow and see what you're going to become.
Having an autistic sibling changes your life in ways most people never see. Welcome to My Sibling is Autistic, the podcast where we share real stories, real conversations, and the lived experiences that come from growing up on the sibling side of autism. I'm your host, Christopher Reyes. I am a father of two autistic siblings. We live in Clovis, California. We also own an indoor play space for kids of all abilities, including those with autism. In each episode, we talk about the love, the challenges, the misunderstandings, and the moments that shape us when we grow up alongside someone who experiences the world in their own unique way. Whether you're a parent, a sibling, an educator, or someone who just wants to understand autism beyond the stereotypes, this is a space for empathy, learning, and connection. Because every sibling has a story, and these are the ones that need to be heard.
Hello, welcome to a very special episode of My Siblings Autistic. My name is Chris, and with me today is Tia Graham. So, Tia, how are you today? And please tell us what you do, and you can start by telling us the names of your kids.
Sure. So, hi, my name is Tia. I have two kids, Mackenzie and Audrey, and I'm happy to be here today. So, I am a expert in the science of happiness, and I'm a best-selling author, keynote, and TEDx speaker. And I help working moms with challenging neurodivergent kids stop feeling like they're failing, finally believe that they are a great mom without giving up the work and the career that they love.
Well, it's awesome. So you caught me a TEDx speaker. So I've been a TEDx speaker too, and right now we're gonna have a yearly TEDx Clovis event here in California. So yeah, we'll talk about this offline, but yeah, I would like to know more about what would be the focus on of your topics if ever we would have you as one of our speakers again.
Well, I would love to do more. I love TED Talks.
Well, me, I wouldn't do it anymore because it takes a lot of preparation time. So, but I do enjoy organizing, and I'll tell you more about it offline. Yeah.
Okay.
And for those watching us, yeah, go to TEDxClovis.com to know more about what we're doing for the community here in Clovis, California, and spreading ideas. So, someone passes by you on the street on public. I mean, how would you describe your two daughters to a stranger, or if they're asking, I mean, if they would ask them about your kids, what would you say?
So I would say that they are both energetic, creative, fun, caring, preteen girls. And our older one is obsessed and has a really special ability with animals. She actually has her own horse. And we have two dogs, so we're definitely like an animal loving family. Our older daughter is on the spectrum and has the PDA profile of autism. So throughout her life has really needed a lot of autonomy and flexibility. And, there were several years where because of her nervous system, she was quite dysregulated. And so, of course, hard for her and challenging for my husband and younger daughter and I. Um, Yet we've all grown a lot, we've learned a lot, we've done a lot of, family healing and individual healing. And the girls are sisters, so they get along really, really well, and of course, they're siblings, so they fight sometimes too.
Okay, that's great. And is there an understanding, between the two siblings? Does the other sibling know that the other is neurodivergent? Is there awareness in both of their parts?
Yes, yes. When our daughter was diagnosed, with autism and on the same day, with a PDA profile of autism, probably within the next 3 or 4 weeks, we told both girls, so we were very, like, open with it, and, we, we're very open with all of the strengths and talents and superpowers that she has, and the family, is definitely aware and open about the challenging side too. So, yes, it's very much, like, open conversation and communication in our family.
Awesome. So, growing up, let's backtrack back, 2, 3, 4 years old. Like, what were some of the early memories that stood up the most? Because these ages, 2, 3, 4, that's where the most of the diagnoses happen. So, what were early memories, good or bad, that stood out the most to you and you still remember to today?
And sorry, which child are you asking about?
Let's do both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know a lot of children and people are diagnosed early, but I know that girls and women a lot of times are diagnosed later, right? There's so many women that are getting diagnosed in adulthood. And like I said, our daughter was diagnosed when she was 7.5. So we didn't have that early experience of knowing, and we really didn't think that she was neurodivergent. So for the older one in the early years, very, very talkative, communicative, engage with life, like going to preschool, had friends, etc. She always was a very strong-willed child. And we did have trouble with like sleep, and she was a picky eater. But in those early years, the time frame that you're thinking of, we did not think she was neurodivergent at all. Um, just, challenging in terms of like just very strong-willed, like wanted to do what she wanted to do. And my younger one was a pretty easy baby, toddler, in those years. Went to preschool, and, they both did like dance activities and things like that. For us, for our family, the challenging years were more when our older daughter was like age 7 to 10.
But yeah, so I'm a father of two autistic kids. My son was diagnosed way young, like 2 years old. But my daughter, yeah, she was diagnosed, later in life. Yeah, like I said, for girls, it is quite harder to figure out from professionals. So yeah,
I
it,
think most of the autism research is on boys.
I agree. Yeah, so but I'm glad that we got the diagnosis for my daughter. That way we can get the resources that we could. So
Yeah.
speaking of resources, where are you from, and how is it over there in terms of autism resources?
So I'm originally from British Columbia, Canada, so the west coast of Canada. And our family with the girls, we've lived in Los Angeles. During the pandemic, we lived for 3 years in British Columbia, Canada, and then now we live in Orange County. We actually live in Newport Beach, and so and I'm not an expert on everything that Canada offers, but it was, similar, I would say, to what we've experienced in California in terms of resources and different types of professionals, whether that be like OT therapy or there was like, for example, like a friendship group, that was offered for my daughter, things like that. And they offered her a one-on-one aide at public school when she was there. Um, the IEP process in Canada is definitely more simple in terms of my experience. Just like a way smaller report and, things like that, where here in California, we have like an 80-page assessment report. One of the reasons that we decided to move to Orange County, though, was because of all of the resources and different types of schools and professionals and everything that were here. So yeah, I could probably say about more, but that's some information.
So would it be safe to say you moved to Newport Beach? Would it be safe to say that Orange County would be better for autism families compared to living in British Columbia?
I wouldn't necessarily say that, no. I think if you're living in a larger city in Canada, there's more resources. We were living in a city that had about 250,000 people, so a smaller city. But I think if you're in one of the bigger cities like Vancouver or Calgary, Toronto, I think there'd be more resources. I think it's just sort of like population and number of people, working there. But no, I wouldn't necessarily say it's better to be in California than in Canada.
Okay. So you said preteens. So how's school right now for your daughters? How's the support from the current educational environment you're in?
Yeah. So, our older daughter goes to an incredible school, which I couldn't recommend more than enough. It's called 2E for Me. It stands for twice exceptional for me. It's a small private school here in Newport. And the entire school is based on collaborative problem solving. So there's no like token economy. There's no like, get rewards or get like punishments and sticker charts and none of that. It's all based on helping kids build skills and solve problems together. And so it's academic and therapeutic. No, like I said, punishments or anything like that. And the staff is incredible. It's a very small school. And our daughter really likes it. And the families are incredible. The staff is like amazing. Um, and then our younger daughter has been going to Annalise, which is a school in Laguna. She is going to be going to the Prentice School starting next year because she's dyslexic and just needs a little more support with reading and writing. Um, so yeah, that's been our school situation. They both were in public school, and we decided that based on what they needed and their experiences, that wasn't the right environment for them.
Could you share the cost of these private schools? I mean, if you would give us a range, like how much would it be per year for this type of school?
Yes. So for 2E for me, it's very flexible and there's a lot of different, so I don't know all of it, but there's a lot of different pricing structures based on several factors, including the number of days a week that your kid goes there, the number of time per day, also how um, the needs of your child. So, I would say it's a range anywhere from maybe, and again, this is like a range. It's about anywhere from like 2,000 to 6,000 a month. A lot of the families, though, have their school districts paying for the school, whether they got that through working with an advocate or on their own, or whether they had to hire a lawyer. But, basically, a lot of these kids can't go to, and for other reasons, the um, public schools or the non-public schools that the school districts offer aren't right for the kids. And so, like I said, they get support from the school district financially. And then and I think that's the same for the Prentice School as well. So yeah, if that helps, that's kind of like the range. But a lot
Yeah.
of aren't paying for it out of pocket.
Yeah. To those listening, the school districts can pay for your private education. Just try to look at the resources, look for lawyers, advocates, because they can help you figure out. Even if you pay these advocates, the investment is going to come back tenfold. Yep. So
Yeah.
look to that, and this is going to be pretty sure it's going to be true to the entire nation. And don't think that private school is like a barrier for if your finances are not in enough. There's always ways for the public school system to help you out. So
Yes, yes, and we, luckily have never hired a lawyer. We did have an advocate, and, absolutely right, like, that investment having an advocate that understands how the school district works and can support you, and also the entire process was not, like, adversarial, right? It was really working together, um, and, uh, so, yeah, I would say if you strongly feel that that's what your child needs, there's definitely ways to get support.
awesome. So I want to talk about emotional impact of your two daughters. Did either one of them feel the pressure to be the easy child, if you will, the pressure to, you know, be not a difficulty to the parents? Was that ever a thing?
It's interesting. So, our younger daughter has always been the easier child, right? In so many different ways. Um, and I don't know how much of it is her nature, is her personality, and how much of it throughout the past decade is also her wanting to be easier for mom and dad. And it's probably a bit of both. Um, of not wanting to, have any more stress or challenges in the home. But I will say, like, she's always been, and before there was a lot of challenges in her home, she's always been quite quote unquote easy. So it's definitely part of her, yeah, nature.
So, about teenhood, adulthood, and the future, has the relationship between the two siblings changed as they went out? I mean, as they grew older. I mean, has it changed? How has it evolved through all these years?
Yeah, it continues to change. So they've been together for 10 years and they were very, very close as toddlers. And, they're exactly 2 years apart and played a ton and really, really close. Um, the relationship was strained when my older daughter was having more challenges and was more dysregulated a lot, and the younger daughter, was angry, and there's a lot of like stress in the home, etc. um and they weren't as close during that time. I mean, they always played. It's not like there was like no closeness. But in the last year and a half, they've definitely become a lot closer, and we have invested in therapy for both of our girls and helping them heal and work through challenges. And I noticed that that really, really helps their relationship too.
Cool. What hopes do you have for your daughter's independence in the future? I mean, we're all growing older. I'm growing older. I think about the future of my kids every now and then. So, what hopes do you have for them living independently as adults?
Yeah.
Well, do you see them moving out from your home? How do you think about that every now and then?
Yeah, I absolutely think about them in their 20s and in their 30s. I don't know if this is helpful to any of the listeners, but I actually wrote down a vision and a manifestation for my older daughter at age 25, like all the things that I wish and want for her. And she's very, very intelligent, and she has a lot of talents and strengths. And from everything I know now, I absolutely believe that she will be able to live independently. When things were really challenging several years ago, I was like, maybe she will live with us forever. But now, as she's, turning 12, I think she will. And there's certain interests and passions that she has that I believe will um, parlay into her work. I can see her being an entrepreneur, for example, maybe working with animals. She's super insanely creative. She says she wants to be a costume designer, and she would be an awesome costume designer. Um, Personally, I would love for her to, like, live close. I would love both my kids to live close when they're older, just I guess that's, like, selfishly. But I will say, if in the future she doesn't wanna live independently and she wants to, live with or, live with my husband and I, we'd be absolutely fine with that too.
Do you think in the future that if they live in different states, I'm pretty sure you have hopes for them to continue communicating with each other. I mean, do you think that'll still happen? And when they're in their 30s and 40s, will that bond still be there, even their states apart, if ever?
I hope so. That's one of my biggest dreams, and that's something that I, as a mom, really focus on with intentionality and doing things to strengthen their bond. I have two sisters. Both my sisters live in Canada. I communicate with them regularly. And I've lived away from Canada for most of my life. I'm 46, and for most of my life I haven't lived in Canada. And so um if they're living in different places, from everything I know now and I feel now, I think that they will be in touch and will communicate. And we have such great technology now with like FaceTime and sending video texts and all of that. And definitely my husband and I will do everything we can to facilitate them being close, whether that be like planning family vacations or doing different things or creating positive bonding memories. Up until then, and then when they're in their 20s and 30s too.
Awesome. All right, final question before we end the episode is, if your daughters would be listening to this episode at some point, maybe not now, maybe a year or two down the road, what message would you like them to hear from you? What if you were talking to them right now? What would you say to your two daughters right now?
That I love you more than anything in the entire world, that I'm so proud of you, that you have incredible gifts and talents, and that every day the world's better with you in it. And I'm so excited to see you grow and see what you're going to become.
Awesome. And that ends our episode today. Thank you
Oh,
all
and
for.
I will share, I have several free resources for parents on my website, tiagraham.com.
Okay, tiagraham.com. That's tiagraham.com. To everyone listening, we'll put a description on the YouTube video for this website, and follow her for more resources. Are you on social media, Tia?
Yes, Instagram, Tia E. Graham.
Okay, no space. I mean, no underscores. No. Okay,
Yep.
Tia E. Graham. Okay. All right. Thank you, Tia. Thanks, everyone. This has been another episode of My Siblings Autistic. Listen to us on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts, and YouTube. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to My Sibling is Autistic. If today's episode spoke to you, please subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who might need it. Your support helps us amplify sibling stories and build a more understanding, inclusive world. You can find clips of the show at We Rock Clovis on social media. Send us a message if you want to be on the podcast. Find resources, episode notes, and ways to get involved at werockclovis.com. Remember, you're not alone. Your experiences matter, and your story is worth telling. Until next time, thanks for being here.